What up, everybody? It's your boy PTK BLAM back with another episode of the Shop Podcast live here at 5 on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, man. Got some great gamers with me. We just hanging out, chilling. About to talk about some Scorpio. So we got to run a little skeleton crew today, but shout out to everybody coming in and watching us. So I'm gonna go around the panel like I always do. Let everybody get a chance to talk. Let everybody get a chance to speak. Um, Go ahead, my right hand man, GKB. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out, brother.
What's up, everybody? It's GKB, the governor. Holy hell, the Scorpio launch, and it is a freaking monster, man. Like I'm one of those tech guys, man. I love this kind of stuff, and I just feel like people just aren't appreciating the design of the Scorpio, man. I think it's really going to blow people's minds, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, man. I have no doubt in my mind that it will, man. So, by the way, before I get to Chuck, the chat is live. You guys put any questions in there that you have for the panel here. We're gonna go ahead and answer those towards the end of the podcast. You guys know how we do. If you've been here before, we usually get those questions flowing. So keep the chat live. Shout out to She Wolf. She is in the chat too. Let's go ahead, Chuck, man. Shout yourself out, brother.
Hey, what's up? This your boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I'm up. And everybody out here on the panel live, and you know what I'm saying? I'm out here with y'all. It's Scorpio. It's the year of the Scorpio. When you see that moon rise and the full moon come out, and you see the werewolf start howling, that's because he just got bit by a scorpion.
That's awesome, bro.
Always glad to have you here. Chuck is like the color commentator on the podcast, man. So yeah, he always has that new little flavor to the podcast. Let's go ahead and just dive right into the topics, man. Shout out to everybody in here watching, man. Subscribe to the channel. Every one of us here has a YouTube channel, so go around the board, subscribe to all of us, man. Leave a like and comment on the video. So let's just go ahead and dive right into the first topic. So first thing I wanted to ask you guys. Now, this is something that I've been thinking about ever since the Scorpio news dropped. So what does Scorpio mean to the industry after the spec reveal? Now that's a better question to ask today because the extra news that we just got. And so I feel like that's a really, really good question to ask. What does this mean for the entire industry? Because I think people are completely underestimating what Microsoft would do. Like, people don't realize what they really did, like the innovation and the moving forward of the industry. So I want to start with you, GKB, and your feelings on like, how is this going to push the industry forward? Because damn it, it really is. Like, people don't get the innovation behind this.
Yeah, man. Like, I agree too. I think when Phil and all them came out, his team, and they're like, we're gonna do a 4K, machine, no compromises, and all that kind of stuff, or no compromises. They did that, man. Like, and I think where the innovation and where it's going to be going is like into the 4K narrative. Everybody knows I've said this multiple times. I don't really care about resolution. I care about like performance and all that kind of stuff. But you can't deny that the industry and even in people's homes and stuff, they're all pushing 4K. They're moving to 4K. So I think Microsoft wants to get on the forefront of that and bring out a machine that literally, when you look at the tech specs of this machine on paper, shouldn't be doing what it's doing. And that relates to the genius that Microsoft and AMD, worked together. They had all this data, they cleared up all the bottlenecks and all that kind of stuff. And that's fantastic. And that's another part of the innovation that, people aren't realizing is just the efficiency and the way they built this machine going forward. That's going to keep the cost down because they can use lower and I don't want to say that as like a bad thing, because it's really not. Like using like cheaper parts and all that kind of stuff to get really good performance out of it, like they're doing with the Scorpio. Like they went on Digital Foundry. They came out today and said it's using the same CPU as the Xbox One, just with some tweaks and stuff like that. And it's phenomenal what they're doing with this hardware, and I'm really, really impressed. And I think that's the kind of stuff that we should be, sticking to and all that kind of stuff.
And I feel like that's what's getting lost in all of this. And it's sad. It's really, really sad that we can't see the innovation, man. This is something that's never been done before. First time in video game history. I mean, the juice that they're getting out of this particular, and like you said, we don't want to put a negative connotation towards what they're using, because it's nothing short of spectacular as to what Absolutely. They're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask the same question to you, Chuck. How do you feel about, like, what does this mean for the video game industry moving forward?
All right, it's like a dawn of a new era. It's like a power move to be able to kill a lot of straggling stuff that been going along with the who got the most power with the console war and a 900p 1080p and having the developers to be able to use the power that they need to make the games that they want, even though it's been a very business orientated with people purchasing like the DLCs to keep people from getting it for a year, and companies doing all these type of things. But I'm looking at it now, it's more like this is Phil Spencer saying, look, I'm not here to try to undercut nobody, cheat nobody. I'm a gamer. This is for the gamers, and I know what the gamers need. And from him being in the business perspective, he know that to give us what we need, he need to give the developers what they need. So for them to do the best that they possibly can, give us the best experience we possibly can, they need the best console they possibly could make it on. And it's going to change the whole industry by being able to just pull PC assets and from 4K straight to the Scorpio, and then be able to scale it up and down from the regular the Xbox Fat to the Xbox S to the Xbox, question mark Scorpio, whatever it's want to be called. So whenever they do that, it's gonna make the developers' job easier. That means they can pump out more games more efficiently, more faster. It's not gonna have as many as bugs as we've been having in the first 3 years, or we're gonna have all these delays and killing generations. I think it's just a whole turning point for gamers and gamers alike.
Yeah, that's the other good point that Triple Cup Chuck mentioned there as well. Like when the way they were talking about the Scorpio is it's built with all this data they got from game engines and stuff. And when you look at like traditional console cycles and stuff like that, they're built and then the game engines are built to play on those. And this is completely opposite. This machine was built for the game engines that are current right now. So they're going to take advantage of all the stuff that they put in there. And I was saying like 4K and all that kind of stuff too. What's really cool, and if you see in the Pro and all that kind of stuff, they kind of have modes where it's like 1080p and performance and all this other kind of stuff. Scorpio doesn't do that. Like it's all baked into the hardware itself. So it's going to run everything at max. Like no matter what TV you have, whatever it is, it's going to run it. And then it's going to downsample to whatever resolution your TV is going to have. And that's going to be fantastic because PC does that, and it adds so much more detail, and you can be able to play all the effects and everything else, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go into the game and change it. It's going to do it for you automatically. That's fantastic stuff.
Yeah, there's already like tidbits of that in some games where you have the sliders, you can go in and mess with the options. There are very few games that actually do that on console, but PC guys, they have all of those options. So we're just bringing the console market closer to the PC market as far as the design goes and like how the hardware is being utilized. But I am completely like baffled by what the hell they did. Now, I told you guys, and everybody knows on Twitter that I am not the biggest tech guy. So it's like looking at Spanish to me when I see these videos and like read some of the articles. I can decipher some, but not enough. I'm not as good as like somebody like you, GKP. But I know enough to know that this is incredible, and I think that the industry is just going to continue to push forward, and that developers. They stated when we back in E3 last year that this was for the developers. This was a console that the developers asked for. And so in saying that, like Chuck pointed out earlier, this is just going to make it easier for them. I mean, GKB, he's always talked about bigger worlds, better physics, all these types of things. That's exactly what this is bringing to the table. It's going to allow developers to do some of the things that they've probably only thought about doing or dreamed about doing. I am super hyped for this. I am super, super hyped for this. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Chat is live. So we got Delilah, who's next, Kurt. There's a bunch of other people in there. If I'm missing you, I apologize. Chicken, Xbox Chronicles, Fuzzy. Shout out to you all you guys, Siberia. So let's go ahead and just move on right along to the next topic, man. So that was a good one to always start. So this is another question, GKB, and I don't think many people have thought about this, GKB.
Sure.
Are devs going to use the extra tech? Because we know Microsoft has always said, here's tools. If the devs want to use them or not, it's up to them. But here are the tools that they're available. Right. But and we know devs always kind of play the middle ground. They don't like the extra work. If it's gonna make it, harder on them, they don't typically go the extra mile. Right. But this is a legitimate huge jump. So do you really feel like devs are gonna take advantage of this? Because I mean, there may be some games that come out where they don't use any of the extra stuff that this is offering. So how do you feel about that?
And that's a good question, and I've been wrestling with this question for quite a while on podcasts, on our own, on Xbox Nation, on yours as well. And you got to take a look at these games, even from the Sony side and the Xbox side, they have to play on the base models. So I think not from a graphic standpoint, but from a gameplay mechanics point, there's only so much you can do with the CPU on the Xbox One and even at the Scorpio, because like I said, it's the same one in each of them, just a little tweaked on the Scorpio. So they're only going to be able to do so much. And yeah, I think at first you probably won't see much, but like graphical upgrades and all that kind of stuff. And that's great too. Like, that's going to add value to what you're buying into the Scorpio and stuff. But yeah, I think like the first year, or two, people are going to get the hang of it and see that all the kind of stuff. And eventually, I think there's going to be a point where, they're not going to make games for the older stuff and then just make, there's going to be that transition. It's not going to be anytime soon. It's going to be a couple of years. But yeah, it's going to be a tough question. And I'm really excited to see what the devs do, because I mean, if you see on the Pro and all that kind of stuff, they're doing really cool things that the PC side has, like more ambient occlusion, more lighting, and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to see that on the Scorpio, probably a lot more. But at the end of the day, they do have to run on both. And Albert Pinello, that brings up another good point. Albert Pinello on Major Nelson's podcast too. He said too that, if you're on the Scorpio side, you're going to see a lot of benefits. But he said you also have to understand that if you're on the regular Xbox One or the Xbox One S, yes, those games are going to run on there, but there's just going to be some stuff like graphically and other things that you're just not going to see because it's just not capable on that hardware and stuff. And I think that was a really candid, great response from him. So we just need to understand that going into it.
Yeah, and I feel like with him being as transparent as he is and him saying that, let's and like you always say, GKB, let's kind of rein it in here, because that's one of the things that I've thought about. You know what I'm saying? How are they really going to use this tech? Because this is, Microsoft gives devs a lot of tools. They've done a lot of innovative things, and not all devs this generation have taken advantage of some of the tools that have been presented to them. So I was kind of, I don't want to say worried, but I was kind of just pondering and wondering, like, are they really going to use this shit? Because like some may not, and go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I mean to cut. I didn't cut you.
Oh, you good.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but some of the stuff though really isn't going to be left up to the developers. Like, if you read the docs and all that kind of stuff, like, some of the game engines that are like 900p and all that kind of stuff, they're working on ways to do it on the hardware side to upscale it and do the things that the devs would normally have to do. So they're kind of taking them out of the equation for some of that stuff, and that's really cool. Because all the devs have to do is say, yeah, go ahead and do it, and they'll just do it anyway. So we got that too. So
I think
okay, cool. What's your opinion on that, Chuck?
I think it's going to expose a lot of people. Like like I was saying about these marketing deals. It's like, well, if you notice, the big 4 games that's announced so far that's supposed to come out this year is the Red Dead, Destiny 2, Battlefront, and it's one more that's supposed to be coming out this year. There's a big multiplayer.
Destiny.
I can't. Destiny. I mean, Destiny 2.
Yeah, Destiny 2, Red Dead. Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why we forgot that one. But
throwing shots.
Yeah, I'm a Battlefield player, but it's about Sony trying to grab up these marketing deals, and I think out of all the games, Call of Duty is going to be the one that's going to try to do the keep it, parity and try to keep it the same, and then it's going to kind of expose them because of, like he was saying, they're going to have 12 gigs of RAMs. I mean, they're going to be 3 that's free. I mean, if anything, they can unload all the 4K assets just on that. So the open, the bigger worlds, the more detail in the game, they could kind of push, and then the way they optimizing the system, like you said. They matter of fact, they pull a head out of a rabbit. They reversed the game. They pulled, they did it backwards. So by them doing that, that mean they should be able to do everything 4K 60. But with the marketing deals, Sony might say, well, look, we don't want y'all to have. I mean, they, how does Sony might have a little deals, with the parity. They don't want the same thing with like 2K. They don't want to use Microsoft servers because of. It's going to be unfair to PlayStation. So I'm thinking they're going to try to do that, but it's going to expose, the people for who they are and what they're doing. Because if you don't push your game to the best of its ability, it's not going to sell like it's supposed to, because you're not doing your job. Even though they had a marketing right, you're still supposed to push your game to the best wherever it go. You know what I'm saying? That's where your money is in your craft. And that's why I believe Microsoft got that the 4K HDR because of, you know what I'm saying, if everybody listen to Phil Spencer, he's not a big fan of, you know what I'm saying, of this stuff, purchasing games and purchasing marketing rights, right?
Yeah.
So what he's depending on us, so he investing in us. So that's why he putting a 4K DVR, 60 frames per second, being able to record on the Scorpio. So if the game that they don't get the marketing rights for, they could use that to build other games, and we be the ones that's gonna be uploading in 4K. So when people looking, they look more on YouTube. They look to us. They don't really look to the IGNs like they used to, the machinimas and stuff. So they could have the marketing rights, but these people, when they go to YouTube to see it, 9 times out of 10, the person want to show them in the best quality, the best picture they could possibly show them, unless it's like some content that's we know what I'm saying. Let's say like Destiny got the year. You know how they have the year of content unless it's something like that. But you know what I'm saying, big content creators of Destiny or certain games, I'm supposing they might have both systems, so they'll show all the assets on the Xbox, but when it comes to these specific things that on the PlayStation have, they might show it on there. I mean, I think that's gonna give the Xbox a fighting chance with the marketing without having to go after these big marketing rights like the Call of Duty for $50 million. That's insane.
I think for the most part, you're right with that, Chuck, too, because, you know, I was talking about this on the podcast, too. You know, everybody was like, oh, the Scorpio, and that's fantastic. And I'm with it. You know, they made a believer out of me and all this kind of stuff, too. But at the end of the day, we do have to realize that regardless, the Scorpio is coming out, Xbox is behind, PlayStation and PlayStation 4 is still the market leader. And we have to understand that they have these marketing deals and all that kind of stuff that when IGN gets them, they're going to show them on the PS4 and the Pro and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. That's what they paid for. And that's what they can do. But like what Cup was saying, that the better versions are going to be on the Scorpio. That's hands down. Like there's no doubt in my mind at this point.
And you know, go ahead. Finish your thought.
So like what I was thinking is like, I really hope you know, Microsoft really goes after some of these big third parties, at least one of them, like Red Dead. I know they probably don't have Destiny 2. I think that's locked in as Sony right now, you know, but get a couple of these so you can be on the forefront with that and, you know, bring some of these people that are on the fence back over to the Xbox and, you know, then we could be all about the games at that point.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right about that. I mean, Microsoft this generation, they've had some good marketing, right? I mean, Witcher 3, it didn't really amount to anything, you know, because most people didn't even know they had the marketing rights for Witcher 3. You know, Witcher 3, that's Just Cause 3. What was the other big one? Fallout, they had it for. You know, Tomb Raider, obviously, Dead Rising, obviously, stuff like that. So they've had some good marketing deals, but just not the type of push you see, you know, from a Destiny or a Call of Duty for whatever reason. I don't know why. But you know, I think that narrative is going to change a little bit. The funny thing is, I'm even seeing YouTubers kind of changing their tune, and that's huge too because people don't realize a lot of these huge video game YouTubers, they're pro PlayStation. You know, the facts are facts are facts. You can't really do much about that.
I guarantee
a lot of the
you,
big COD players.
Phil's going to be sending some of them to some Xboxes, sure.
Oh yeah. I've already seen some. I follow a couple. You know, I've been following a couple for a while now, and a lot of them were like, yeah. A lot of them were like, you know, face melt, you know, stuff like that. Like, this is pretty interesting stuff. So, you know, we'll see once the price and everything comes out. But I feel like that's going to slightly change a little bit. But they are giving us some tools to help out with that. Like you said, the DVR, the better versions will be on the Scorpio for the time being. So it's a good topic, man. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Now, this one is a fun one. This is a fun topic. So, has either one of you guys, or anybody here in the chat, has any of you guys, since the Scorpio news dropped for E3, changed? Has anybody's expectations changed? Do you think that, okay, now that we have this information pre-E3, this is going to change everything, or I'm looking at this differently? So we'll go ahead and start with you, Chuck, this time around, then we'll move on to GKB.
All right, my expectations, it's pretty much still the same. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to keep them in check, but you know what I'm saying? The little Chuck inside of me just want to just want to jump around and party and be happy and, you know, shake batons and all this other good type stuff. But what I noticed, it was like you had said this GKB, you said this BLAM, and there was a couple other people that I heard mention this. If they show the Scorpio, like how they showed the Scorpio, the specs and all this at pre-E3, by E3, It should be nothing but games. It's gonna flood with games. And then another thing, by them breaking it down, they show all the specs, and then like, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna show like other little events, showing like other little things that the Scorpio could do, and just, you know what I'm saying, just keep breaking it down in little pieces where you can actually just focus on one thing and really get a good grasp of it and understand exactly what's going on with this in particular part of the Scorpio, because it's more than just the hardware and the specs that's going to be with the Scorpio, like how we got on, we dropped the DVR that's going to put on 4K. You know what I'm saying? It might be other little things that they're going to just drop, just say, look what else we're going to have in the Scorpio. Like, you know what I'm saying? One thing that I don't know if I'm spoiling this about what you was talking about, but original Xbox 360 games, that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't know how deep you went into it yet about that. But, you know what I'm saying, the way the Scorpio is built, and some people saying about like the Vega, I don't think that's a Vega. I think that's some brand new. So my expectations is still up high. So when E3 come and they just start dropping these games, I'm going to be like, you know what I'm saying, I'm just going to be like a kid in the candy factory, Charlie in the chocolate factory, but it's going to be Xbox, you heard me? And there'll be games raining down with games, and not candy. All my candy going to be games. Gonna put some candy on that thing.
For sure. I mean, you know, the thing about this too is that I think that price is really going to be a big deal. Like, if they come out and say $399, I really feel like
it's game over, dude. It's mic drop. It's mic drop. It's mic drop at that point. If they come out and say $399, mic drop.
I think it's a wrap. I mean, they can, if it comes out as $399, they can. I think that opens the door for them to pretty much, you know, go a lot of different areas. But $399 is going to really put Sony. I don't want to say put Sony in a hard spot, but it is going to put Sony in a hard spot, because you're getting a machine same price as the Pro. That's like, is powerful, I guess you could say, with, you know, a lot more features, doing a lot of different things, you know, that the Pro don't offer, you know. So I think that's very, very interesting. So what's your take on that, GKB?
Me, like personally, like my expectations for E3 and going forward for the Scorpio and all that stuff is always and forever will be games. Like that's all this hardware, and I'm a tech guy and I love hardware and all that kind of stuff, and that's fantastic, but it's always games. So for me, my expectations haven't changed at all. To touch on what Chuck was saying there, it's not Vega in the machine. It's just a Jaguar CPU and a Polaris, you know, based off the RX 480 and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely tweaked and all that kind of cool stuff. They're hitting 6 teraflops, like they said. It's going to be eye melting kind of crazy stuff that they're going to be doing. So I just want to throw that out there for everybody, so you know. But yeah, like my expectations for E3 is like games, and that's what I'm really interested in now. Like we were saying before the show, like, you know, Phil's come out, he's put, hey, here's my first piece of the pie. Here's the Scorpio, here's the specs. We told you it was going to do what it was going to do, and now he's moving into E3, the second part of his plan, and I hope he really drops a ton of bombs on us as far as games go. You know, I think they've been releasing games and they've been doing a fantastic job. They haven't been to, you know, the critics and all that kind of stuff standards, but that's okay. They're still enjoyable, fun, fantastic games. I just hope they get a couple of them out there to be like really like in your face, and the gaming media can't do anything but give them super high scores, and everybody's super happy. So.
And I got another question too. Do you think, I kind of wonder, since Microsoft has been really, really reserved, Phil has been really strategic with like what games he gets behind and what new IPs he wants done. You know, like a game like Recore probably didn't cost a whole lot to make. I'm wondering, like, if he's saving up for something. Like, I know they hit a budget every year. I don't know if they absolutely have to use the budget, you know, for balance purposes, you know, to balance the numbers. But I wonder, because he hasn't, I mean, the games that they've had come out, like some of them haven't been like huge games. So I wonder if they're just building up, because they know the Scorpio was, you know, coming. They knew about it, you know, obviously. And I wonder if they've just been saving
to touch on like that subject for you. Like he did an interview with Podcast Unlocked with Ryan McCaffrey and all those kind of stuff, and it looks like it is that way, man, because you know he was the, you know, talking about like he had the cancel Scalebound and all that kind of stuff, and you know he's finally in his groove with taking over, and he talked about investing into first parties and all that kind of stuff. So you never know, he might have put some of that money into some new studios we don't even know about right now, and this E3 could be like his year where like this is 100% me. This is 100% my team, you know, and here's everything we have in swinging for the fences kind of stuff. And I really hope that's what it is. So yeah,
within 12 months.
Yeah, within 12 months, right? Because he doesn't want to show anything too far out anymore.
Yeah. Oh, he said that too in the interview. I didn't get a chance to watch it. But,
he said, definitely check it out. He said it's a balance where, you know what I'm saying, he know not to show too soon, too late. You know, is a balance in that. I say games like Halo and Gears of War, you could show them more like 2 and 3 years in advance because we already know they coming. We already know about them. The hype still gonna be there. But let's say like how Cuphead was, you got to show that within a certain year period before you know, it's in a hype drop about like certain games you could stretch out, certain games you can't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's cool. I didn't get a chance to see the interview, but shout out to Fuzzy. He said Splinter Cell. It's right up your alley.
Oh my god, bro! From what we hear, and I'm trying not to get hype about this. I'm trying to just keep it out of my brain. But like what we hear, it's supposed to be on Microsoft stage, man.
Oh my god!
I don't want to
Scorpio.
I know, dude. I'm just gonna like lose my shit. Like I literally, I'm just gonna spooge everywhere all over my desk. I'm just gonna be like, it's done,
dude.
Hey, check this out. Just picture this here. You know how they got the green Xbox symbol?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of fades into 3 little dots.
Oh, come on. That's all they'd have to do. You don't even need to show the name. Just show the 3 dots and it's a wrap.
Yeah, you're literally gonna see GKB scream like a little cool schoolgirl. Because I would be streaming like all that stuff and watching it live, do live reactions. You're gonna hear me scream like a little schoolgirl. It's gonna be hilarious.
Oh my god,
you gonna hit them high notes?
Oh, I'm going to,
man.
bro.
I have to tell She-Wolf to break out the nipple clamps.
I'm telling you right now.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. But yeah, Splinter Cell will be dope.
Hey, I got a quick question. The 4-bit games I was talking about. If Microsoft had to get one of them, which one of y'all think they should try to snatch the marketing rights for? Call of Duty, Red Dead. You know they can't get Destiny 2, but
Destiny.
You say
Destiny would be the one for me.
I'll say Battle.
No, I wouldn't say Destiny.
I would definitely say Destiny.
I don't know. I wouldn't say. Well, Destiny's really popular. I wouldn't say that. I mean, Battlefront would make sense because it's Star Wars. It has that lore behind it. People are gonna just buy it because there's millions of people that'll buy Star Wars shit just because it's Star Wars. They won't even use it or play it. So,
and I think
Red Dead 2
essentially gonna buy it on whatever they're gonna buy it on, regardless.
Yeah, I think like as far as like, you know, Star Wars go, yeah, absolutely, it's going to sell a ton, but I don't think it's going to have the legs like Destiny 2 is going to have, where they're just going to be constantly playing it. Now, if they got that, and my point to that is that, like, I know they don't have the marketing rights for Destiny 2, but if they did and if they got it, like you see like YouTube, like millions of people like subscribe to these Destiny YouTube channels and stuff, and now if they're playing everything on the Xbox, Scorpio, and all that kind of stuff, like that's just huge marketing every day, day in and out with that content and stuff, you know.
Right,
so
that makes Destiny. As much as people don't, we talk shit about Destiny. I play it a lot. That game has legs. It's millions, thousands and millions of people still playing it right now. So that game's not going anywhere. As bad as it was, and Activision with the shady shit, it's still a viable game. Like the game is still very much alive. It's gonna be people playing it right up until Destiny 2 comes out. So let's go ahead and move on to the last question that we have here, or the last question that I brought up. We'll take some from the. By the way, you guys, if you have any questions for us here on the panel, go ahead and just put them down right now in the chat. We got plenty of time left, so we kind of just gonna let's work our way through the rest of the podcast. But if you have any questions, put them in the chat right now. Subscribe, by the way, to the YouTube channel. We all have one here. So the next question that we have here is, let me go ahead and find it. Good Lord, my old silly ass. It is. I just had it up. Okay. What does Scorpio mean for Xbox Live and its services? Because we haven't really talked about that, because most of it's been just graphics stuff, like horsepower type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So what does it mean for Xbox Live? Because think about it. Xbox Live is continuing to evolve. Mikey Barr, they're continuing, him and his team, to do different things, add different cool things, features and clubs and all these cool, tournaments and things like that. What do you think the Scorpio is going to mean for that type of stuff, for Xbox Live as a service? So we'll start with you, GKB.
Like personally, I don't know if the Scorpio itself will have any impact as far as like Xbox Live as a service. I think their acquisition of Beam and those like smart kids with the, and I call them kids, but they're just younger than me, but they're super smart guys, like working on the engineer team, like the co-creator of Beam is working under Mike Ybarra now. So I think that kind of stuff is really going to, be the forefront of where Xbox Live is going to go with the low latency stuff, much more uptime and stuff like that. Scorpio specifically, I don't think that's going to have anything impactful per se. Maybe the apps run better and all that kind of stuff, but that stuff still has to run, on the original Xbox One and the Xbox. So I don't know that for that part, and I don't think they would make anything specifically for Scorpio because they said no one's left behind and all that kind of stuff.
All right, cool. Good question. And I just want to say something real quick. Fuzzy brought up another great point, but he said they could. He said, "What about GTA 6 if Rockstar decided to?"
That would be huge.
If they got behind GTA 6, that would be probably the best multi-plat to get. Yeah, because that's going to be a monster anyway. So
but I don't see GTA 6 coming out to
not for a while.
2000.
Yeah, I know, but
not for a while. But yeah, I mean, maybe the next Xbox or like the end of the Scorpio's life cycle or something. Yeah, absolutely. Like
at least 2023. I mean,
they still pimping out 5 right now. 5 is still
in the top 5.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. I think it's sold over 100 and some odd million copies. It's ridiculous. All right, so Chuck, same question, bro. How do you feel about the Xbox Live and the services? You think that I mean, I can understand from GKB's perspective as to how those services more than likely aren't going to change, but do you see any of the benefits of the Scorpio and the Xbox Live services?
With the services, I think all around the board is like how GKB said, it all got to stay the same pretty much because of the no one left behind, and pretty much the Xbox One people is down talking it. But that's really an awesome machine. It actually does a lot, and I think it still have room to grow on like the app side of it, where they still could add more stuff to it and bring more stuff out with the app side of it. So I think the Scorpio is going to pretty much have everything that the Fat have. But I think they might, with Phil Spencer and his ninja team, they can go around and do some amazing stuff. They might be able to pull out some exclusive apps for the Scorpio that has not been seen before. Because I always said this about technology. This is how I always looked at it. First it was a television, right? And to be the next event of thing with a television was a remote control. And the reason why the remote control was invented and caught on so well is because it helped people be more lazy. So instead of me having to get up to go actually change the channel, I could just sit back and push the remote control like a microwave. Instead of having to sit there and cook your food to heat it back up, you can just stick it in a microwave. Pretty much with a car, from a standard to an automatic, just something to be more easier. I'm guessing when they do the Scorpio, they're going to have like some of the same stuff, but they're going to add some things in there just to make things more convenient, more easier, more quicker, and being able to just multitask a lot better. And I'm guessing that's pretty much the best out of my knowledge. I don't know nothing they really could do to add that they couldn't do for the Fat or the S.
Well, like when I was just listening to Cup there, like talking and stuff too, like something came to my brain too, and I was like, they took all this data from like the Xbox One to make the Scorpio and all that kind of stuff. And who's to say like it can't reverse that too, like taking data from the Scorpio with stuff and how it's running and all that kind of stuff, and squeeze some more performance out of the Xbox. I think that would be kind of interesting as well, to where like, hey, the Scorpio, we did all this kind of cool stuff. Now we found these things, and we found that we could kind of tweak. Maybe on a software or not hardware level, but like on a software level to make them run a bit better on the Fat Xbox One or the Xbox One S and all that kind of stuff too. So there's that. So yeah, it could definitely help out a little bit for sure.
Yeah, okay. Give me the TV back. Give me my
TV. All right, cool. So it looks like we're gonna start taking some questions. That was a great topic. So by the way, guys, everybody in the chat, if you have any questions for the panel right now, go ahead and just throw them down in there. I'll pose them to the panel. We'll just get it popping. So I do have another quick question, and this is kind of I typically don't talk about this because I feel like it's obvious, but I still feel like every now and then it needs to be brought up just to make people aware if you're not already aware. And I know this is kind of beating the dead horse, but the media, not necessarily just the media, but just gaming journalism, and we've seen the fallout from, since the Scorpio's been out. The news has been out for a couple of days now. Digital Foundry still putting out videos, but we still consistently see other companies, other publishing companies, other media outlets constantly, whether it be a shot, whether it be a downplay, whether it be something to kind of take any light off of the positivity that comes from the Scorpio. They do anything that they can to take light off of it. So I kind of want to get you guys' opinions on that. I pretty much know where you guys stand, but I want you guys to kind of elaborate on that. So I'll start with you, GKB.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Sony took off like from the get-go. The gaming media got behind them. They've, for lack of a better term, been in bed with, Sony, not like, taking money or any kind of thing like that. But, they've been pandering to that because that's where the clicks are. That's where, everything is going to. So like when the Scorpio and really good stuff like this happens, and not just from a platform perspective, but just like the innovation, like I said, like in this machine and stuff, it should be commended what these guys are doing, regardless if they're Sony or Microsoft. And they're really not. They're just downplaying it and then trying to say like there's no games and all that kind of stuff. And and to be fair, and the gaming media should be doing this too. E3 hasn't even come around. We don't know what they got. We know there's Sea of Thieves and and State of Decay and all that kind of stuff, but they're running like that's the only thing they have. Well, you don't know. Like you don't work for Microsoft. Obviously they ain't telling you anything. They ain't telling us anything. So they're holding everything close to the chest because I think he does have some bombshells to give us. I was one of those guys that was like, you know what? I don't know if the Scorpio is going to do what they actually say they're going to do. And they freaking blew me away and impressed me so much that I think, he does have a lot of stuff here at E3 to show. And I think us, the gaming media and everybody should give them a break until after E3. And if E3 comes and it's the same stuff that we've been hearing about the whole time, then definitely go ahead, say, I'll make videos myself about it and being like, they missed the ball on this. But until then, I think the gaming media needs to shut the fuck up, commend these guys for what they did with the hardware, and let's move forward.
Yeah, because like I said before, I keep seeing it like that's what that was for. Like that's all that was for. Was to answer that question. That's all it was for, nothing more.
Well, they're
nothing
really
less.
salty, man, because Digital Foundry, and rightfully so, got the exclusive for the Scorpio, and they're all salty about it because they're not getting the clicks. Digital Foundry got a shit ton of clicks and all that kind of stuff, and probably made a good amount of money off this information, and they're pissed about it. And to be fair, Digital Foundry is the guys that do all the tech stuff. Yeah, and we've been taking the brunt of Digital Foundry shit this generation.
Yeah.
How it's 900p, it's blurry, and nah. So for them to come out and say really good things, I think is really awesome. And I think it's just a bunch of salty, quote unquote, gaming journalists, and more like just crybabies to me. They don't really do any journalism whatsoever. But that's just I'll stop now because I'm gonna say
right. Good thing they pretty much got what they deserve, even though Digital Foundry, they didn't deserve it, as in, what I'm saying, by the way they've been carrying themselves. But at the same token, this is the place that you want to go to when you want to say breaking down the tech and see what goes inside of it, and to show the 60 frames 4K with 30-some% power left over. I mean, who better to go to than Digital Foundry? Then on top of you going to them, that's like Phil Spencer saying, "Talk that shit now. I want you to talk that shit now." And then
that's what he did, man.
Then I was looking at too. They was still it really got under my skin a little bit because they still was dropping little sneak drops about the Pro, and then they were saying something about, I heard them say, oh, the Pro, what I'm saying, they do the checkerboard and they what I'm saying, dynamic resolution, what I'm saying. One person was like, yeah, what I'm saying, PlayStation Pro, what I'm saying, I don't know how they do their 4K, but what I'm saying, I'm like, that's not 4K that they doing, so stop saying that's 4K. It ain't the way they try to say it. They trying to make it sound like it's 4K. But they just did it in a different manner. So they're like casual. They go in and they say PlayStation, like, yeah, PlayStation do 4K. They ain't gonna say that, oh, it's not 4K. Is they taking and they checkerboard and they cutting in pieces to render it up to make it look like it's in 4K. But in actuality, when they say native 4K, that's the only true 4K. But you would never hear that come out their mouth. You'll see them say, oh, what I'm saying, the way they dropping it and doing this here on Battlefield 1, it's amazing how PlayStation 4 Pro was able to run at 1800p and a dynamic resolution. They drop back down. But what I'm saying, they would not just sit there and just say it sucks. They'll never say that about the PlayStation. But when the Xbox was doing 900p, oh, I can't see. Feel like I'm Ray Charles trying to look at the Xbox game. I'm like, man, they need to cut that out. And it's under my skin when I just hit it. And I was sitting back just looking like, okay, you're going to say the Xbox One Scorpio outperforms the PlayStation 4 Pro in all aspects. But you still want to sit there and say, yeah, but the PlayStation 4 Pro still can do this here. PlayStation 4 Pro still can do this here. So Xbox if Phil Spencer watches, he needs to take notes of that, because if he marked that anything over $499, it's going to be dead, because people not going to be able to tell unless they see it side by side, or, they actually get the site. But if they have to go by word of mouth from like places like Digital Foundry, IGN, Machinima, and all these other places, they going to say PlayStation 4K. They going to say Xbox got 4K, but PlayStation have 4K too. They're not going to distinguish the difference between what's the real difference. All that side by side comparison that Digital Foundry was doing, I don't see them doing it as much no more. I think they're gonna kind of bag up off of it.
And sorry, Blam, I didn't mean to cut you off there again.
Oh, you good? Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
But I was watching like Podcast Unlock, and they had their whole show, when the Scorpio was launched, and I swear to God, man. And I'm gonna rag on them right now, because you sit here and say you're the best Xbox podcast around, and you look like a bunch of lump on the logs, could fucking care less that the Scorpio launched, and talk like it barely even mattered. Like, this is the stuff that people go to and look at you guys for like Xbox information and all that kind of stuff.
Man,
and you could probably care less.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing about this?
Oh, you might be. Go ahead.
Oh, you good. No. The funny thing about this is that this entire generation, as we all know, Digital Foundry has been the go-to place. Resolution Gate, all of that whole, it's been since both systems have come out. One ran better, multipass ran better on one, for higher frame rate, whatever the case may be. And Digital Foundry was the go-to place. Whatever Digital Foundry said was gospel.
Right.
As soon as Digital Foundry comes out and says this machine has exceeded our expectations, now everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people all of a sudden questioning Digital Foundry's credibility.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not a credible company, because they said that this thing exceeded our expectations. I don't understand. Oh, well, we got to wait for more games, which is true, because we do need to see some games running on it. But that's not just shun what they said, because any other time we've been taking what they said as gospel. Let's not play it to the left all of a sudden, because they're saying something exciting about Xbox, and it's true. That's exactly what's going on. And I'm not wearing my tinfoil hat, guys. I may sound like it, but it's crazy. It's kind of ridiculous.
Hey, I got a quick one. Check this out. All right, 2K basketball on the PlayStation 4 Pro, that's able to do 4K on a PlayStation 4 Pro, right? Now, I mean, like native 4K, because it's a sports game and it don't really demand too much. Now, let's say with that game and then 2K come out for the Xbox Scorpio, and that one be on my native 4K. I want like with Digital Foundry, when they see both of these games and they both could push 4K, if they still going to give the edge to Microsoft because they have one extra person in the crowd, like the 3 blades of grass.
I don't know, man. That'd be funny.
That'll be hilarious. So we do got some questions, and the show is winding down. So there's some questions. I want to make sure I get the viewers' questions. So we got a question from Fuzzy Belvedere. Shout out to Fuzz. Thank you for rocking out with us today, brother. I appreciate it so much. Question was, do you guys think keyboard and mouse will be a thing on Scorpio? Now, we actually talked about this probably about a year and a half ago, about the keyboard and mouse thing with the Windows 10. At this point, I don't know. I mean, it seems like a logical thing to do because it's Microsoft, and they, Windows 10, and they have access to their own OS and things like that. Like, it seemed like a logical thing to have keyboard and mouse support, but I'm not sure at this point. They haven't talked much about it. It doesn't seem to be high on their priority list.
Right.
I haven't really seen any articles about keyboard and mouse, but I guess what do you guys think?
Like for me, they've been skirting around this for a while. I think I did a vlog on it a while back too, and it's one of those things like, enough either, skirting around the subject, either come out and say you're going to do it and this is when we're going to do it, or don't. I think it's a perfectly fine. And I understand, like, console gamers, they don't want to get wrecked by keyboard and mouse and all that kind of stuff. But I think Microsoft at the end of the day will make separate lobbies. People will be able to play if they want to and have the choice. And that's what Phil Spencer and his team's vision's been this whole time, is just giving people options. But at this point, like, I don't think they're talking about it right now because I think they're on, the Scorpio. They're trying to make sure that launches well, getting the games and all that kind of stuff ready at that point. And I think when that's over, you're going to see more features and stuff like that, and maybe even keyboard and mouse. But I agree. I think they're either going to do it, they need to shut up and do it, or just say, hey, we're not going to do it and move forward.
Yeah. All right. What do you think about that, Chuck? Keyboard and mouse, man.
Be honest with you, keyboard and mouse scares me. It scares me in a matter of, okay, with PC, you already know, like, they have people with keyboard and mouse. When you get on the Xbox, it's like, back in the days when they used to have the turbo controllers, where instead of having to push the A button, you could just hold it down and they'll go fast for you. With keyboard and mouse, you got all types of tricks that you probably could pull off with the keyboard and mouse. So like with shooters and stuff like that. Even if the accuracy is still about about the same as a controller, the controllers have rumbles in it. So when you're shooting or you're doing something, it's shaking, so it's gonna throw your hand off a little bit, and to give a person with a keyboard and mouse just could be more accurate. So when you're playing, even if you say you don't want to play with these people, in the back of somebody's mind, they might be saying, is this person using the keyboard and mouse? Even though it could be clearly stated this is a controller library only, some people still gonna have in the back of their mind, or is they playing with a keyboard and mouse? So I think it's like a slippery slope. Because I know some people like keyboard, mouse, and with certain games, I can understand, like how Halo Wars 2 is, saying they want to use keyboard and mouse for those type of games. But certain games, I really can't see, them using the keyboard and mouse, because it's gonna affect the community, even if it's not physically on the TV screen, but mentally in their head, they might be thinking that. So, but I don't think they really. I think it is more like, they have to do a sit back and watch. They got to ease their feet into it, because they don't know, because they got slapped so many times, shot themselves in the foot about with the Kinect. They thought that everybody wanted to Kinect because the Kinect sold so much on the 360. They like, okay, everybody gonna want to Kinect in the future. We'll better bring all these different stuff. Then all of a sudden people say, no, we don't want this. So now if they do with the keyboard and mouse, it's more of an iffy thing. Like, okay, if we bring it, then everybody start backlashing on us. So let's kind of ease and see if they want it. If they don't want it, we'll pull it back. But if they do want it, then we'll, ease it into them.
Yeah, Microsoft has to be, they kind of got to watch their step when they're making these kind of moves, So Sony, that's one thing Sony doesn't really have to worry about, because they don't really have that other side, of the business, quote unquote, because Microsoft with the OS and Windows 10 and things, Sony doesn't have that issue. So Microsoft does have to be careful. So we got another question here. Shout out to Who's Next 012. Appreciate you coming out watching live. He asked, what do you think the price is going to be? PTK, Chuck, and BLAM. We're talking about the Scorpio, obviously. This has been like thrown around a whole week. Yeah. So we'll start with you, GKB, man. What do you think that price is going to be, man? I don't know. So
yeah, I mean, so I think Digital Foundry has done a really good job with talking to Microsoft and all that kind of stuff. And we now know that, the tech is the stuff that's same in the Xbox One as far as the CPU. And then you look at like the R&D and all the stuff that went into making the Scorpio to make it as efficient and all the cool stuff that they're doing tech-wise with that. And then they're taking, like, a 6 teraflop GPU based off the RX 480 and some of the customization they did with that as well. You got to take all that into account for like the price and all that kind of stuff. I still think, and I'm not saying this is 100% guaranteed, but I really think the potential is there to hit $399. Maybe they have some weird, crazy base model that they can just knock out and maybe not make a ton of money off of it, but still make enough to where, they can still check the box and everything's good. I really hope they can do that, because if they do, it's a mic drop. Like there's nothing Sony could do at this point except for making a PS5 and try to compete at that point. And I think a lot of people will jump on board at $399. That's a really competitive price point. But if I had to say, like, right now, right this second, I'm probably going to say $450 or $500 for the base.
I think 500. Now that's if they do, because they could essentially do different SKUs, things like that.
Yeah.
They could do that, like maybe because the standards are 1 terabyte, they could have a 2 terabyte at another price, something like that, But
Right.
I honestly think that with the information that we have now, I think that the max price they can charge is $499. I don't think they can go a penny higher than $499 just because of the way the generation started. I think people see that $500 and they're like, oh my god, people still look at that and they're like, oh my goodness, they're completely off put by it. Although the console is more than $500 because you cannot build a PC that does the same thing for $500. But as a casual, you see a PS Pro and it's what, $399. You look over and you see a a Scorpio 500. It's a little disheartening to somebody who doesn't know.
And Microsoft knows that, man. I mean, Phil sits here and says all day long, like, this is for a niche market and all that kind of stuff, but they want to sell this goddamn thing. Like, they want to sell it to everyone if they possibly can. So, and I think they know that going in there, and they're probably crunching the numbers right now and being like, man, can we really get it to there? And, I see people in the chat too, they definitely could hit $399. I think so too. The potential is definitely there. But we got to see, this isn't the Microsoft whack, back with, Bomber and all those kind of guys where they just throw money at this shit. This is a very refined Microsoft, and it's all about making money. They are a business at the end of the day. So hopefully they can, but at the end of the day, it's probably going to be around $450, $500.
Yeah, and that's what Fuzzy just said. He said 1 terabyte, $449, 2 terabyte, $499, which makes sense because it's that way now with the different SKUs. You get the 1 terabyte, I don't know what it is now. Then you get a 2. It's usually about $50 difference there. When you go up in the hard drive space. So I'm thinking about they could do the $399. I really feel like they could. If they want to blow the doors off E3, put the $399 up there, boom. But $449 is a good price. I don't think that's $50 more than a Pro, which makes sense. I don't think anybody should be off put by $449. If somebody is off put by $50, based on what you're getting, versus the Pro, then you're just reaching at that point, because it does, all these different things that machine can't do. So I don't know, man. I think $399 would be great. I think it's realistic. $449 I think is a really good price. I think if I was gonna say that, I would say for me, it's not too far off the Pro. It's not so far as to it's not justifiable. It's not $600-$700 crazy. That'd be fucking shooting your foot off.
Yeah, matter of fact, not even that's out of the realm of possibilities.
Blowing your foot off with a grenade. Yeah, so you don't want to do that. But Chuck, go ahead, bro. I know you didn't get a chance.
Yeah, but I think if it come out at $499, I think you'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh my God, they got DRM." They're gonna bring 2013 back. Now, for if it come out at $349, my suggestion is if you already own an Xbox, just think about it like this here. You could take that controller and sell it. There go your $399. So so the people don't even need to be worried about close to $399. But if it come out at like that perfect price range of $299, $399, like right up in there. Not $299, $399, that'd be like perfect because it's gonna hit the everybody that that want the hardcore machine. And what I'm looking at is if they drop it for that price, and I say this over and over, so I know y'all gonna say I say this too much. If they drop it at that price, wait until Sony do their press conference and then just drop the price right there. Now, if it's $450 or $499, just say it then. But if it's $399, do it right before Sony press conference. And another thing too, I know this is a little bit outside, but still on subject. It need to come out in August, because if it come out in November, out in November, because I'm a type of gamer. If I play a game and I beat a game, it's gonna be, no matter how good the graphics is or maybe the little stuff they add, it's gonna be hard for me to go back to it in November. Now in August, that's the start of because Madden is always the kickout for game season. So when Madden come out, you need an Xbox Scorpio with a Madden bundle. Madden gonna sell the shit out that system. I don't care hardcore gamers might not understand this here, but Madden and 2K and Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty carry the gaming industry. So you need Madden to be on the Scorpio box, because that's gonna sell like hotcakes. Because casuals, when they gonna see Madden 4K, they don't have to know too many of the details. The only thing they want to know is, this to be the best looking Madden. I want that. So they're gonna go for that. And then you got all the other games like Forza. You're gonna have the annual games that come out, Call of Duty and all that. But by the time November hit, all those games gonna be already out and played out. People have like ADD or Alzheimer's. They don't remember shit. So anything that don't come out then.
Do you think it's ready? You think it's ready already? I mean, I know they're like,
they're ahead of schedule.
They're ahead of schedule.
I know he said that.
Yeah,
I think that would be another mic drop.
That would be a huge mic drop. Like honestly, like if it comes out in August or maybe even at the end of August, like
what about October? What about October?
October's a good date too, but I wanted to see, you know, even the beginning of September, because like when Destiny comes out, like that would negate, like think about it. The Scorpio, the most powerful, it's going to look better with Destiny and all that kind of stuff. So if you can get it out before Destiny, like people are going to buy Xbox and play Destiny, and that pretty much negates the marketing rights for like Destiny, right? Like that's another mic drop. Like, and at $3.99, like they could do so many things. I don't know if they're going to do it. I'm just speculating and all that kind of stuff. But I'm much like Cup. Like I want that stuff to come out in August.
So when does Q4 start? Q4 is September, right?
Hey, this year
or October.
This year is starting in August. This year is August.
I mean, they've kind of plastered that all over everywhere. It'd be hard to take that back at this point. Like you keep saying Q4, and that's kind of in people's head that it's going to be Q4. So what's the earliest? October?
I mean, but they could say
starts in October.
But let's say if they drop it in August, who gonna remember they said Q4?
Yeah, nobody. I mean, that's true.
I don't know. I think they could do a lot. They got a lot of flexibility.
It's highly unlikely, but you know, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. But that price, that's a great question, man, because that's been the biggest thing. You know, after we've got the spec stuff out the way, the price has been the biggest thing that's been up in the air. So ability there too, because there's some things that they can do. You know, they may be able to bundle in a game even, you know, with the console to justify the price even more. So you get a game.
I don't think they need to do that. I don't think they need to bundle no game.
They could essentially if they wanted to. They probably won't, but you know, it's an added incentive.
Hey, no, they should bundle in now. Let's say when it first come out, you give people 1 month of EA access. That's 30-something EA games. You give them 1 month of Gold. That's 4 free games that month. Then you turn around and give them 1 month of the Xbox, what is Play?
The Game Pass.
Pass. Game Pass. Give them 1 month of that Game Pass, and that's 100 or something games. And you can advertise it like that. We giving y'all this, and this.
Good point. That's a good point.
That's gonna blow it.
That's a good point, man. Just give you like a free month of all 3 services, and that's more than enough incentive to go out and buy it, because that's thousands of dollars worth of games you have access to right off the rip. So
RKDO in the chat, I miss PTK too. It's about goddamn time.
That's why I'm doing the show today, guys. Man, I gotta get back on my shit, man. So
he's back,
man. Yeah, for sure, man. So I think that's gonna wrap it up, man. I know there was a couple more questions, and I apologize. You know, if you guys still have those questions, man, hit me on Twitter. You know, you hit GKB or Chuck. You know, we can answer the questions there. You know, or they shoot them a message on, you know, on YouTube, whatever the case may be, man. Hit us up, man. We'll get to those questions if you still have them, man. So looks like we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up today, man. It's been a great talk about Scorpio. It's been a great afternoon. You know, I don't keep you guys too long. 60 minutes and out this bitch, man. That's what I do, man. I don't hold you guys too long. But I'm gonna go ahead and round the panel, let everybody know, so you guys can just there. GKB, you all over the place, man. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. It's a GKB, the governor. You can find me at Gamers Knows Best on YouTube and Twitter. We hit a milestone on the channel today. Thank you so much for the community. We hit over 3,000 subs on the channel, and it's phenomenal.
Hey,
yeah, we love you guys, and thank you so much for the support. Big shout out to She-Wolf, the Console Corner crew. We got you know, we couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without BLAM. He took a chance on me. I love this guy. I'm so happy we're doing the Just Shot podcast again. So much love to everybody out there. Thank you so much. You guys rock. We love doing this because of you guys.
For sure, and I want to give a special shout out to GKB and She-Wolf too for hitting that 3K, because that's awesome, man. They're growing like crazy, man. These guys do awesome things for the community. They've done some like real, I say groundbreaking things as far as with their channel. You know, seriously, you know, the live streaming, and, you know, the community game night, things like that, man. Shit just took off, man. I didn't do much. I don't ever take credit for their success. So I just happened to not find this guy. We just happened to run into each other, and it just worked out. So. But Chuck, man, let everybody know where they can find you, Chuck.
All right, well, first GKB, that's well deserved. You know what I'm saying? You deserve everything that you got, and more. You heard me? Well, I hit a milestone. Mine ain't near about his, but I'm in the triple digits right now. You know what I'm saying?
Woo!
Triple cup in triple digits. Yeah.
Hey,
That's good stuff, bro.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Well, you know what I'm saying? This your boy Triple Cup Chuck. Triple Cup, one word, then Chuck. You can find me on Xbox. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube doing my thing. I drop a video every Monday. I be on the Gamer Session podcast on Monday. We just be cutting up, clowning. You can find me here with Blam. You know what I'm saying? We be getting it in, you know what I'm saying, talking about games. And I'm an early bird because early in the morning, I be up. So when you see me on Xbox, if you follow me, I'll follow you back. I'm a cool person. We can get some games in. Just get at me. I'm more, like I said, early person. So get at me in the AM, wherever you at in the world.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, cool.
Just real quick too, Blame.
Yeah.
You know, all this Scorpio stuff comes out. There's a whole bunch of tech stuff on it. I'm constantly dropping videos on that tech stuff, and I explain it in such an easy way to understand. So if you guys are into that kind of stuff, come check it out. I did the CPU and the cooling system. Hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, just want to throw that out there.
All right, for sure. And I am your friendly neighborhood gamer, PTK Blam, the host with the most, everybody. So I know I've been kind of back and forth, man, some real life situations going on, but I am back, man. The podcast is popping off. Been doing videos. Catch my videos actually every Tuesday, every Thursday. I got a schedule now, and the Shot Podcast here on Saturday. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the love and support. I do have a new goal this year. Since I've been away for a little while, my goal isn't like lofty. I'm trying to get to, about 1,500 subs by the end of the year. So, if you guys know your friends like video games, share the video, man. You never know. So I appreciate the love and support so far from the community, man. You guys have been awesome, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me, through ups and downs, whatever the case may be. So thank you guys. Hit me up on Xbox Live also too here on Twitter. You got any questions, whatever the case may be. I'm a cool dude. I try and speak with everybody, as many people as I can. So follow me there, PTK Blam on Xbox Live too. So I appreciate it, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. One huge shout out to the community. Thank everybody for coming out, rocking out with us live here today. The Shop Podcast will be back next Saturday, man, with some more guests, more topics, man. We're gonna have fun, man. Got some special things coming out. Shout out Chicken. Me and Chicken cooking up behind the scenes. So shout out Chicken Spaghetti. So he know what's up, man. So we and me and GKB, you never know, man. We and GKB has something going, so that may pick back up, man. I know this man is busy as hell, so but we like family, so we'll figure it out. Yeah. But we'll catch you guys later, man. We're out of here. Thanks for the love and support, man. Catch you guys another day next Saturday. Holla at us.
Like button.
See ya.